honestly, I feel like no matter when I make this video, within probably by the time I upload this, maybe in a day or so, it's already going to be outdated because that's how fast things are moving right now. If you're living under a rock and haven't seen my video or anyone else's video on this yet, we are seeing basically OS level age attestation and verification. Attestation and verification are two different things. Attestation is asking for your age but not verifying it. Verifying it is verifying it. It's making sure that what you're saying is actually true. The main ones that people were talking about, the bill in California, which had already passed, and the bill in Colorado, which has now passed, those were attestation. Those were not trying to verify your age. However, since that point happened, there has been a lot of other bills going into circulation, a lot of other discoveries of very similar things, and there was a whole big mess that nobody even realized was happening until maybe like 4 or so days ago. You probably knew about the social media age verification stuff happening, but a lot of that now is, that's moving out of the social media sites. We have this bill from Brazil. Do note, if you read this, it will be translated from Portuguese, so it's gonna have mistakes. From someone who says they know Portuguese, it seems to me you are overreacting to this law. The point about age verification seems to be Article 12, which implies that operating system providers should be able to implement age verification. This article also says the executive branch, how this age verification stuff will work out. Notice that this is not a law that says anything about how Linux should add verification. It only allows the executive branch to do it. In essence, if you're distributing an operating system and parents go to you and say, hey, give me a way to control how much I would access stuff, you are obliged to comply. Linux can already do that. Even though it gives people root access, there's nothing that stops you from disabling root access for a child and restricting access. Again, the law only authorizes the executive to regulate the matter, but it hasn't done this yet. If the president goes and says, stop letting kids download Linux, then that's another matter, but that's not what happened. But, to my understanding, would be something allowable with this bill. But it's also not the only bill. So there's also a similar bill in New York. There are bills over in Utah and Illinois. And it is worth noting that whilst Texas did try to pass a similar law, it was blocked by the courts on free speech grounds. So for anyone here who is gonna want to talk about partisan politics, this is being forced by the Republicans. This is being forced by the Democrats. Shut up. You're being distracted by nonsense. This is not a partisan issue. Everybody's doing it. Also note, for both the Colorado and the California bill, both Democrats and Republicans voted in favor of. In the case of California, 100% in favor of, besides the non-voters. And whilst I'm not yet aware of similar bills being worked on throughout the entire European Union, don't think that this is not going to happen just because you're not in America. Let alone the social media age verification stuff coming to places like Australia, the UK, 25 plus states in the United States, and a lot more places. Notably, over here in Aussie land, it's being rolled out thanks to the E-Karen, who is a unelected bureaucrat. Don't you love the real world? Granted, there was supposed to be an inquiry into the work she was doing, and then she was blocked by the sitting government. Gotta love it. Now, of course, if you're a company like Apple, for example, you're probably not happy about this. You're probably not happy about having to deal with these problems. But if the problems happen, you do what you can do. It costs you a few $1,000s, few $100,000 to do it. You implement whatever nonsense needs to be implemented, and you're good to go. But when it comes to the Linux distros, this is a lot more of a problem, because you probably don't have that money, you probably don't have lawyers, and you probably don't have the time to go and work on nonsense and then work out what each individual state and each individual country wants you to do. Now, one thing a lot of people freaked out about was this thread started by Aaron Rainbolt on the Ubuntu mailing list, on the unfortunate need for an age verification API for legal compliance reasons in some US states. It's going to become all of them very, very quickly. And this basically goes into the idea of how this can possibly be done, implementation details, things like that. And people are like, oh my god, oh my god, this is exactly what Ubuntu is doing. And initially I was like, okay, yeah, this makes sense, sure, whatever. But the point of a mailing list is to be an open forum to discuss what potential solutions could be taken. This is not like guaranteed implementation details. The point of this is to talk through problems in the public so you know what a distro that you are using is working on. As it currently stands, this is Ubuntu's actual official stance. Basically, our lawyers are looking into it. Our lawyers are going over the legal documents and working out what we need to do. The recent mailing list post is an informal conversation among Ubuntu community members, not an announcement. While the discussion contains potentially useful ideas, none have been adopted or committed to by Canonical. When we have a clear plan, we will publish it through our usual channels, which is the forum and various other places that Ubuntu posts things. The mailing list, it's basically just a way to publicly discuss things. Usually nowadays, they don't announce things through there, and if they do announce things, it'll also be announced in the other channels. There has been a lot of talk about what to do here from basically every project that needs to talk about it. You've got talk in the Linux Mint forums. I brought this up last time. There's been talk about Fedora. There's been talk in FreeDOS as well. Remember how I said there'd be things that I would miss? I was literally editing this video, and then someone sent me this. Add age verification signal specification. This is over in XDG specs. This was made 5 days ago. I didn't realize this was happening. Obviously, like with the Ubuntu thing, this is just being discussed in public because everybody's going to have to deal with this. Nothing has yet been merged. There is some criticism about the fact that this does exist, so we will see what happens. Along with the discussion over in the portal repo of very similar things. And you have this comment from Glorious Eggroll, otherwise known as GE, the developer of many things like Proton GE, but also Nabara Linux. I do not understand the lack of logic behind people's brains. Oh, the distro or company can just relocate or just host somewhere else. Oh, don't just distribute in California or Colorado. Bro, I live here. And he's been going off constantly about this because this isn't just something about big Linux distros, it's also about the random little projects as well. Projects like Nabara, projects like CashOS, projects like pick whatever your favorite distro is, all of them have to be concerned with this. Because when it was just 1 or 2 US states, oh yeah, you can just block those states, sure, whatever, fine. When it's becoming the entire United States and countries like Brazil, and I will not be surprised, again, if the European Union does something similar, and you might say, oh, but in the US, this is going to get shot down by the Supreme Court. Okay, maybe it does. Fine, fair enough. But you have to prepare for the situation where it doesn't. Now, last time I talked about a statement from Jeremy Soller of System 76 talking about specifically the Colorado and California bills, notably because System 76 is located within Colorado. Since then, they actually have put out an official blog post on the System 76 website. This is by Carl Rochelle, or at least it's credited to Carl Rochelle. I don't know if he is the only person who actually wrote it. The challenges we face are neither technical nor legal. The only solution is to educate our children about life with digital abundance. This is not actually text, this is an image, which annoys me. Because there's no reason that this should be an image. Last week in Cabo, Mexico, an adult friend thought it'd be hilarious to add El Mencho to a picture of our dining outing, text it to his friends, and tell them we met a new friend. We asked ChatGPT to add El Mencho to a photo. It refused. My under 13 child said, oh, I got this, found a photo of El Mencho, asked ChatGPT to add a person from the photo to the dinner party photo, and voila. We're enjoying drinks with El Mencho. Our friend's parents asked what's wrong with him. I was an impressed dad. Kids are smart and easily learn how to work around restrictions. The best intentions can produce unintended consequences. As you can probably guess, I don't have kids, but I do have friends that have kids. I do have some younger nieces and nephews, and if you've never been around someone who is like 4, 5, 6 years old, as they are like really starting to actually learn things for themselves. You're not just teaching them, hey, this is what this thing is, this is what that thing is, but they're actually exploring the world for themselves. It is insane how quickly Like, things that maybe took you a couple of days can be just picked up pretty much instantly. Colorado Senate Bill 26-051 and California Assembly Bill number 1043 require operating systems to report age brackets to app stores and websites. A person who creates an account on a computer is supposed to be 18 or older and attest the age of the user they're creating for themselves or their child. In practice, this means anyone under 18 isn't supposed to create a computer account on their own. Most System76 employees installed operating systems and created accounts on the computer when they were under 18. And I would assume this is the case for pretty much every single one of you. Assuming that computers were publicly accessible when you were under 18. I've seen my statistics. I know there's got to be at least one of you. They did this out of curiosity. Many started writing software. Some were already writing operating systems. I'm sure the story is similar at most tech companies. Limiting a child's ability to explore what they can do with a computer limits their future. Removing use limitations to the computer is why System 76 exists. If there's any solace in these two laws, it's that they don't have any real restrictions, at least those specific to. There is no actual age verification. Again, those specific to. Whoever installed the operating system or created the account simply says what age they are. They can lie, they will lie, they're being encouraged to lie for fear of being restricted to a nerfed internet. A parent that creates a non-admin account on a computer, sets the age for a child account they create, and hands the computer over is in no different state. The child can install a virtual machine, create an account on the virtual machine, and set the age to over 18. It's a similar technique to installing VPN to get around the Great Firewall of China. The only difference is you're probably not going to go to jail for it. These laws put children in an awkward situation. They're already scrunching up their faces to lie to social media age verification algorithms required in Australia. When these first started coming in with TikTok, a bunch of kids were just posting on TikTok being like, I'm under the age that I need to be, and I managed to get past the age verification. What are you gonna do? Whilst they might be good at learning things, some of them are pretty stupid. To the dark side, it can get worse. New York's proposed Senate Bill S8102A requires adults to prove they're adults to use a computer, exercise bike, smartwatch, or car if the device is internet enabled with app ecosystems, which is a lot of devices, especially with a lot of things becoming these smart devices. Also, that would probably include a TV. Yeah, because those also usually have app ecosystems as well. The bill explicitly forbids self-reporting and leaves the allowed methods to regulations written by the Attorney General. Practical methods for a bill of such extreme breadth would require, in many instances, providing private information to a third party just to use a computer at all. And as we know, when you provide IDs to third parties, the third parties don't store that information and then have a data leak a few months later. That's never happened and never will happen. Stop pretending. In a bizarre twist, under its current wording, a Linux distribution downloaded from the internet could technically make the downloader the device manufacturer. That would be me or you, if you're the downloader. They are the entity responsible for writing a freely distributed operating system to the device. In practice, this type of language is rarely enforced. Nonetheless, it highlights how laws written for centralized platforms like iOS and Android struggle to define who is responsible in open computing ecosystems where anyone can install or distribute the operating system. Liberty has costs, but it is worth it. A centralized platform designed to control the activity of the user creates the environment where the centralized platform provider can themselves then be controlled by higher powers. Decentralized platforms and app stores like Linux are essential to the personal liberty of adults and children. This extends to the potential of humanity itself. The computer is the most powerful and versatile technology we've ever created. It is a foundational technology that affects the progress of all other innovations. A platform that controls the user's activity and can itself be controlled limits the user's ability to contribute to our shared future. Many of the world's best programmers started experimenting with computers as children. In the case of Colorado's and California's bills, effectiveness is lost. In the case of New York's bill, liberty is lost. In the case of centralized platforms, potential is lost. Over on Twitter, Carl has further commented on the situation. Perhaps the most perverse consequence of age verification laws, many require advertising the age bracket of the user to the open web. Children will be known to be children, even to those that would exploit that information without regard for any other safety law. This is something that is often not discussed. If you have age verification to ensure that people are over 18 to access adult spaces, you're going to have people that pretend to be under 18 to access child spaces. Also from Carl, today I met with Colorado Senator Matt Ball, co-author of Colorado's OS Age Attestation Bill, SB 26051. Senator Ball suggested excluding open source software from the bill. This appears to be a real possibility. Amendments are expected for the California Age Attestation Bill. It's my hope we can move fast enough to influence excluding open source in California bill amendments. No illusions. It's an uphill battle, but we have to have an open door to advocate for the open source community. As I said in my last video, there is absolutely no reason to go after Ubuntu, to go after Fedora, to go after System 76, because they just exist and are complying with the laws that exist. Go talk to your senators. Go talk to your lawmakers. Contact your local representatives because they can actually change things, and this is a case of that happening. Is it everything you'd like to see happen? No, but it is a step in the right direction. One thing also worth noting is that Preston Byrne, 4chan's lawyer involved in the UK Ofcom case, has said he is willing to help offer legal advice, assemble a legal team, if distros want to go down this route. Now, since there's a lot of fun happening, I want to show you this Reddit post. I pulled the actual bill text from 5 state age verification laws. They're copy-pasted from 2 templates. Meta is funding one to dodge $50 billion in copper fines, and the other one covers Linux. Basically, there's a theory that the reason why this all seems to be happening at once, and a lot of these bills are very similar, and they're all being pushed in all of these different states, is in part because of Meta lobbyists who don't want to be accountable for verifying the user's age, because if they're accountable, that means if they get it wrong, then they're responsible for paying the fine. But if they're able to move that age verification or age attestation into the operating system and then just ask the operating system, well, it's up to the operating system to tell them what to do, right? They're just listening to what the operating system reported to them. They are totally fine when it comes to safe harbor. Age verification bills have been introduced in 25 plus US states. They look bipartisan and independent. They aren't. Well, they are bipartisan, but not the independent part. There are 2 model templates being distributed to state legislators by outside groups, and when you compare the actual statutory language side by side, you find identical invented terminology, matching multi-clause definitions and character for character duplicate passages. One template is funded by Meta, the other applies to every other operating system, including Linux. Now, is it possible that this thread is AI generated again? M-dashes. Yes. However, it does make a very compelling argument. Template 1, App Store Accountability Act, requires app stores, Apple and Google to verify user ages and share age with developers active in Utah, signed, Texas signed, blocked by the court, Louisiana signed, plus Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Hawaii, Kansas, Kentucky, and a federal version. Sponsors are mostly Republicans, pushed by the Digital Childhood Alliance, a coalition of 50 plus groups. Meta funds it. Template 2, Digital Age Assurance Act, requires operating system providers to collect age at account setup and send age signals to apps via API. Active in California, signed, Illinois, filed, Colorado, introduced, New York, introduced. Sponsors are mostly Democrats, pushed by Common Sense Media. This is the one that explicitly covers all OS providers, including Linux distributions. Both result in a universal age verification infrastructure. The difference is who builds it. TLDR, 2 model bills are being distributed to state legislators. 1, App Store Accountability Act, shifts age verification from Meta to Apple/Google, neutralizing Meta's $50 billion copper exposure. Meta funds the coalition distributing it, spent a record $26.2 million lobbying in 2025, and has lobbyists in 45 states. The other, Digital Age Assurance Act, requires all OS providers, including Linux, to build age verification into account setup. The bill text across states and contains identical invented terminology and copy-pasted passages. Evidence and verbatim bill quotes in comments below. So this person has been going off, and this theory has been gaining a lot of popularity behind it. And again, as I said in my first video, getting angry at System 76 or Ubuntu or any of these other distro providers, this is a red herring. This is meant to distract you from the actual problem. They are not your enemy. They are just as much of a victim as you are in this. If you want to dig deep into some of the details he's got here, he's got a whole money trail on where the money's coming from, how he gets to 50 billion, why Facebook is actually exposed to this massive potential issue, and a whole list of lobbying numbers and where the lobbying firms are located and who's involved in the lobbying. And again, it's a pretty compelling argument. So, what a mess. Honestly, as I said, by the time this goes up, there's probably going to be another state that has something, or another country, or something else that I wish I'd added into the video. So feel free to let me know in the comment section if there's anything since 2 p.m. Adelaide time on the 10th of March up to the upload of this video that I didn't miss because it hadn't happened yet. Yeah. What a mess this situation is. Again, focus on the right target. Don't be distracted by nonsense. Don't let people bait you into arguing with Linux distros. Go and actually talk to legislators. Talk to the people that are actually making these laws and try to make a change. If not, well, just sit back and watch the world burn. Hey, it's your life. Do what you want. So, if you liked the video, go like the video. Probably not happy about the video, but if you liked it, go like the video. Go subscribe as well. Yeah, if you want to become one of these amazing people over here, check out the Patreon, subscribe, Daily Bearer Pay, linked in the description down below. That's going to be it for me, and hopefully we can have some more fun stuff happen. That would be great.
Like this.